In this module 6, in part 2, we'll be covering pull boxes and the purpose of it and why we use it, and the importance of understanding how many conductors we can actually use inside of a pull box. This size pull and junction boxes, and we're going to install pull and junction boxes and get into the details of each one of these. So there will be a performance test on this here. So we're going to, in this performance test, we're going to select the minimum size pole or junction boxes for the following applications. First will be the conduit entering and exiting a straight pole box. And then we're going to look at the conduit entering and exiting at an angle. And we're going to be using the National Electrical Code to help determine this, looking at the tables and the information to help us to get familiar with the National Electrical Code even more, but understanding how we can find this information. So here's a pull box, that rectangular box in the middle, and this is different sizes of conduit going into this pull box. And so it's a certain length, a certain width, but and depth, of course, but what we look at is that pole and junction boxes must provide enough space in which to install the conductors. It doesn't make sense to trying to stick a lot of wires in the box and you can't close it, or you need to do service in the future and it's so tight that we don't have the capacity to pull the wire. So for conductors number 4 or larger, again, the smaller the number, about the gauge, the number 4, the smaller the number, the larger the wire. It works in reverse, so you may think. So again, it's getting larger. For conductors number 4 or larger, on a straight pole, the length of the box must be no less than 8 times the tray diameter of the largest raceway. Again, for conductors, for wire sizes of number 4 or larger. And if it's a straight pole, meaning that it's coming in and leaving, that's a straight pole. So again, it's coming in and is leaving. Okay, so we have two number 4s and two number 2s, 2-inch pipes. I call the number 2s number 4s, but a 2-inch pipe conduit and a 4-inch conduit. So it's 2 of each coming in and leaving. So for conductors, a number 4 or larger on straight pole, the length of the box must be no less than 8 times the tray diameter of the largest raceway. So in other words, if it's 4 inches, we have to multiply 4 times 8. 4 times 8, which means that it has to be a 32-inch box. A 32-inch box. So again, that's the length of it, the length. So no larger. So a straight pull, the length of the box, the length is 8 times the largest pipe you have. Now, when there's an angle pull, for conductors of number 4 or larger, pull at right angles, at an angle rather, the length of the box must be no less than 6 times the tray diameter of the largest raceway. 6 times. And the second thing is that in addition to making a conductor pull easier, a pull box can also be used to avoid conduit bends. So here's a reason why. They say the second point is that a conduit bending have a certain radius and it can make it tighter and harder to pull wire through. A pull box makes it a lot easier for 2 reasons, because we can pull all the wire we need straight first, then we can pull it through. Or if you got some help or something to help guide it, you can make one pull. Of course, you need to have somebody here to help thread it through to get it started through the second conduit. But again, we will be 6 times the um, uh, the larger conduit. So at this point, we have a 4 inch. 4 times 6 is 24 inches. So if a square box like we see here, um, it would be 32 by 32. I'm sorry, 24 by 24. So it's 4 times 6 times. 4 inch pipe, 6 times that tray size. Alrighty. So a junction box is an electrical enclosure where one or more raceways or a cable enter, um, and in which electrical conductors can or are spliced. So again, junction box is used all the time. We use it in commercial, residential, industrial, especially in commercial industrial. We use junction boxes for many different things. Matter of fact, we have a lot of pull boxes. You don't use pull boxes very often. I guess you can if you use 1900 boxes. You can use it for that in residential and junction boxes, but usually we just call it junction boxes. So it's enclosure where one or more raceways or cables enter, and in which electrical conductors can be or are spliced. And pull boxes are sheet metal boxes, like enclosures used in conduit runs to facilitate the pulling of cables from one point to in a long runs, or to provide for installation of conduit support bushings needed to support the weight of long riser cables, or provide for turns in multiple conduit runs. So to make this a pull box, it just makes your job easier. Let's say you got to run wiring 500 feet, and just pulling wire that long, the resistance of the piping on the inside is going to make it hard. But if you put pull boxes in, and let's say you put 4 or 5 pull boxes in or more, it will allow you to pull that distance and then pull the rest of it through, and keep pulling that way to make your job easier. Or when you're making bends, you need to go in a different direction, 90 degrees, or that you can use it for that purpose also. Straight pull contains 2 raceways. One of the raceways has a tray size of 3 inches, and one has a tray size of 2 inches. The length of the box must be blank. Again, straight pull contains 2 raceways. One of the raceways have of 3 inch, the other one is 2 inch. And if you remember what the rule is when it's a straight pull, you look at the largest pipe, raceway, and use that multiplier. And the multiplier is 8. So again, 8 times 3 is 24. If possible, pull boxes should be installed blank. High on the wall for security. At a height and location for ease when pulling conductors. Behind wall coverings for a neater appearance. D, with extra knockouts left open for ventilation. Well, we already talked about knockouts, and they always be covered, so we know D is not right. It shouldn't be behind wall coverings, because you need to be able to get into it one day, and if you don't know where it's located, you'll never be able to pull the wire or make repairs and things. So again, it's most logical one. At a high location for ease when pulling conductors.